I would recommend anyone who's watching this to download CSGO and just go shoot one bot at a server. It feels so crisp, like you're gonna cry after. Just how responsive the game was. Because I really feel, when you compare both, if you had thousands of hours in CSGO and you now have been playing CS2, you're gonna instantly feel the difference and it's gonna make you a bit sad, so. But you would just hope that Subtic would be the elite, you know? But unfortunately, I don't think it is.
I did exactly this. Downloaded CSGO and played one bot match. And honestly, it made me quite sad. And if you have not done this so far, I encourage you to do so now. So it's been almost a year now since the release of CS2 into its public beta. Oh, 1 second, I accidentally read the wrong line. Since its public release. During this time frame we did receive quite a lot of updates and improvements to the game. But how's it doing now? And has it been improved enough? What areas still need work and how's CS2 comparing to CSGO 1 year after its release? This one is going to be a short chapter for a couple of reasons. CSGO never really had a strong anti-cheat either, and it possibly struggled with its cheating problem as much as CS2 does as well. A couple of months ago was probably the lowest point in Counter-Strike history, where cheaters were so common that playing the game felt almost impossible. Even I ran into a couple of blatant cheaters at that point in time in regular competitive matches, which normally rarely happens to me. And even during this time period, a lot of content creators quit playing the game, which was quite understandable to say the least. Just to show a couple of examples here. But even after this specific incident, things are still not really that great either. While Valve has made some good efforts, especially in recent times, to combat the cheating problem, it still leaves a lot to desire. Watching someone like Renyan, who forces himself through playing the painful experience that is so-called Premiere, it becomes very apparent that CS2 still has a lot of work ahead of it.
He's actually so fucking bad
also. It is what it is.
Especially for the Premiere mode, which seems to be mainly affected in higher elos by these cheaters. Features that we once had in CSGO are still missing from CS2, and the ones that players ask Valve for, they implemented in their own sort of way. Like left hand as an example, which was fundamentally changed from how it worked in CSGO, and this resulted in me personally rarely using it nowadays. But what exactly sets these two games apart content-wise? Some obvious choices are the missing maps like Cache, Cobblestone, Train, and probably many more that the community has been asking for quite some time now. Missing game modes like Flying Scoutsman or Danger Zone are also a couple of things that the game still lacks, which all of a sudden also people now seem to care about, including myself. But those are just some obvious ones. So here are a few more obscure things that are also missing from CS2. Missing clan tags, missing console commands, missing rarity indication in the HUD, which I did not really notice was missing, but it once was a feature in CSGO. Missing options for game modes like Deathmatch, in this case its specific TDM mode. Map factions for each map, which honestly is quite a shame that these haven't been reintroduced so far, as in my opinion it felt quite special having a map specific faction. Downgrades for certain in-game effects like the doors no longer interacting with weapons, and bullet decals on doors, which are also still missing. There's also some other smaller things which I could mention here. A proper community server browser which does not minimize the game, as I personally find this quite irritating. And so on and so on. The list could probably go on a lot longer than the few things that I've pointed out here. So while Valve has once again done a decent job at reintroducing some of the older content to the game, CS2 1 year after its release still misses a lot of the basic features from CSGO and a lot of the content that we once were used to, which is rather unfortunate. Honestly, one of my favorite chapters of this video. Especially because we've seen so many bugs across this 1 year, it becomes very difficult to remember them all. Even though I've basically showcased a very large portion of them in the videos that I've made for CS2, as I covered a lot of these patches and updates over the past year. We've seen so many bugs in fact that recently it felt like every other week or so a new game-breaking exploit was discovered. From teleportation exploits to gaining access to console commands during official matches, wallhack commands and many more to just name a few of them. Unfortunately, in some cases it took Valve a couple of months to address these particular issues, as an example like the bomb exploit, which allowed players to look through walls. Another great example for this would be the launch commands that still give players access to quote-unquote wall hacks, even though after a very long time of Valve being aware of these. These game-breaking problems have especially been noticeable in the past couple of months, as the amount of patches has slowed down quite significantly. So even though we've received a ton of fixes over the past year, there is still a ton that need to be addressed. From the bomb stuck spots, to collision issues, to certain game mechanics that still feel worse compared to CSGO, like shooting as an example. Still the issue of dying behind walls. As well as the movement, which still does not feel right either, and quite sluggish to be honest. Ladders are also quite bizarre in CS2, especially when a teammate is right below you, which can cause you to move very slowly. A teammate being able to stop you right in your tracks on nuke is also still an issue near CT spawn, and probably a lot more issues like this one. But not everything is buggy, right? Right? With the release of CS2, we received a lot of cool new features, like the smokes as an example, which you can look through by lowering your settings. I've recently seen this in a video. Honestly quite interesting. The brand new sparkling water, which also has some issues associated with it, which we will get to in a moment, or the ability to see your lags in game, which in return led to a bunch of weird issues that were associated with those lags, from Michael Jackson peaking, to turning yourself into pancakes? Yeah, this one is still a problem. Valve, please fix. Oh, and since I mentioned the water, let's talk about this annoying sound bug that can happen on maps with water, like Anubis, Overpass and Ancient. Poggu on Twitter once again figured out what triggers this particular issue, and it once again has to do with the rectals in some way. I will leave a link to his original post in the description down below, so make sure to check it out. So now we're just waiting for Valve to slowly patch out all of these issues that the game still has, and there's still a lot to take care of. And now with the 1 year anniversary creeping up, how is CS2 doing? All things considered, it is still doing quite good. Normally with a big birthday like this one, Valve is going to release some sort of larger update, which would also explain the lack of updates as of recently. Or if we're lucky, we may get a tweet for the CS2 birthday. Jokes aside though, considering the poor state the game has launched in, it has gotten significantly better. However, the devs still have a lot of work ahead of them. And if they make the right choices and get things fixed in a timely manner, then I believe CS2 has a bright future ahead of it. Despite me getting frustrated with some aspects of the game, I would be lying if I would say that I don't enjoy the game at all, as I have poured well over 1,000 hours into this game over the past year. A game that we all like to complain about because we all care about it. So CS2 devs, please give us something for the 1 year anniversary, please take care of this awesome franchise, and please don't let CS2 go downhill. As there is still a lot to do, please take care of this awesome game, and thank you a lot for the attention and care you've given the game, even though there's a lot of negativity associated with it. And since I don't want to end this video on a negative note, go play one round of CSGO. It's genuinely a nice throwback in time, with some small changes you can even play with your old skins, which is pretty awesome to be honest, and it may also be cool to see how bad some of them look before CS2, and some others which actually look better. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.